Good morning, everybody. My name is Tony from Annika Digital, Marketing Manager at Annika, and I'm joined by my colleague, Holly Kelly.
Good
Hi, Holly.
morning.
How are you?
Very, very good. Thank you this morning.
That's good. So today, Holly is going to be taking us on how to use AI in PPC. Before we go ahead with today's session, we're going to go ahead with a few polls. We have about 2 different polls, I believe, and so that we can just understand where everyone is at, on what stage and what level they are at in terms of the use of AI, or also if they know what PPC means and how to use it. So I'm going to go ahead to start with the first poll. Please, everyone, let me know. You're going to be able to see it on your screen. It's going to pop up, and we can go ahead to discuss. So the first question is, are you currently using AI for PPC management? If yes, maybe frequently, yes, but it's quite limited, or not, you're not using AI at all. Let's see what level we're at. Okay. That's an interesting mix. Just going to give it some more time for people to answer. So we can see that majority, 78% is saying not using AI at all. And 19% of people are saying yes, they're using it, but quite limited. Holly, what do you think about that? What's your take on that?
I think it's fairly common. I think it depends if the audience today runs PPC. If they do, it's quite possible that they are using AI without even kind of realizing it, within kind of the built-in kind of systems within the platform. So yeah, most of us are in some way, shape or form actually using AI, but probably just not in the way that we hear about it spoken about in kind of modern times.
That's good. That's an interesting mix. So I'm going to go straight to the next poll. So this poll reads, if you're using AI, what elements are you utilizing it for? So the 2% of people that said that they use it frequently, and I think 19% of people said that they use it, yes, but limited. So what type of elements are you utilizing it for? Is it for bidding, for targeting, for research, for ad content, creatives, optimization, reporting, or just every other thing? I'm going to give it a few minutes for some responses to come in. That's interesting. I was expecting to definitely see for research purposes. So yeah, we have an interesting mix. 8% of people said that they use it for bidding. No one uses it for targeting, which is quite interesting. 15% of people say they use it for research. 26% people said they use it for ad content. And 11% of people said that they use it for creatives. 17% for optimization. 7% for reporting, and others just 14%. Holly, what do you think about that?
Bit of a wide mix. I would probably say, again, similar to the first point, depending on what you're doing in the ad platforms, it's quite likely you are unknowingly potentially using it for targeting, depending on what you're doing. But yeah, bit of a mix across everything, isn't there?
Yeah, it's an interesting mix. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead to start with today's presentation. Holly, you can take it away.
Absolutely.
Everyone, if you can say in the chat, if you can please see the screen at the top right on the screen, you'll be able to go ahead to maximize the screen so you can see it in full.
Bro, thank you very much, Tony. So good morning, everybody. So I'm Holly. I lead the paid media team at Annika Digital. I've been in the industry, around 10 years now, and I specialise specifically in PPC, more so on the Google side, but I do and have ran kind of paid social campaigns, marketplaces, affiliates. So quite a broad stretch across kind of the paid media, but Google is my specialism and my first little one within the paid media world. I'm also a guest author for Search Engine Land and PPC Hero. And I've recently started doing some live talks. So I've done one for PPC Live, AdWorld Prime, and I've got one for SMX Next coming up very soon in November, if anybody's joining that. So what we'll get out of today. So the main thing that you're going to get out today is the top AI tools for use in PPC, how you can engineer the prompts to get the best results and outputs out of these tools, where AI can specifically support in PPC management. So if you've been in the our webinar circuit for a little while, you'll have seen Anne's talks all about, ChatGPT and AI in kind of that wider digital marketing scope. Well, today we're going to focus down on how it can really help you in PPC management. And then we're also going to go through quite a few examples of putting this AI and these kind of tactics into practice. So hopefully lots of good takeaways and things that you can actually go away and start playing around with yourselves. And one of the great things about a majority of the tools that are in this presentation today is they all have free versions, and that's not just free trials, they're kind of ongoing free subscriptions as well. So lots and lots for you to kind of go away, have a play with, particularly for kind of those 70+% of people that aren't yet using AI in PPC. It doesn't have to be so daunting. So when we talk about AI in PPC, what exactly are we talking about? So AI it's a tool, it's a solution, it's all about kind of machine learnings, and it's there really to help us improve campaign performance. And I would say from a PPC perspective, it can help us to manage almost every single element of our PPC campaigns, and it can do so more efficiently. And when we're able to do so more efficiently and we're able to utilize AI, we are able to focus on those kind of higher output, higher sales or lead generating activities to support the AI. So we don't just let AI run kind of everything for us. We work in conjunction with it to make things more efficient, and we're just able to get more out of our campaigns that way. One of the great benefits of AI is it uses and analyzes really, really large pools of data, and it does so at speed. And as it's analyzing and kind of using that data, it's also learning from that data to improve its future outputs. So really, really kind of intelligent, and in some ways it can do things that we as humans just can't do, or that it would take us weeks on end to analyze certain kind of sets of data. So it's really, really powerful in kind of speeding things up. But what I would say is, with all of this, it is a machine, and so it's really, really important that we balance the use of AI with human oversight. So we don't just want to, like I say, let AI run for itself. We need to make sure that we're giving that kind of human input to kind of everything that's going on as well. When it comes to using AI, there are some overarching barriers that come out recently in a State of Commerce report by Shopify, and that was released in August or September this year, so quite a recent report. 27% of people put it down to a lack of skills, so not knowing where to start, what tools to use, how to use these tools. So that's quite a big one, and that's quite an easy one to kind of overcome. There's lots and lots of material out there, from kind of webinars, YouTube videos, articles, just how you can kind of get into kind of using AI in kind of simple little steps. And it really helps. Once you start using it, you can build and build from there. 18% feel that it's got less authenticity and creates a less human experience for users. And this is one where, what I was mentioning on the previous slide about where it's really, really important that AI is used in conjunction with kind of that human input and human oversight. 13% comment around kind of data privacy. And I think with this one, particularly when it comes to PPC, there are a lot of kind of use cases where you don't have to share any data at all. So it's not always about giving giving the AI, giving the tool like pools and pools of like data, whether that's, you know, confidential like contracts, whether that's confidential like performance data. You don't have to use it for those things, and you can still get great use and efficiencies out of it for kind of other elements. So they're all barriers that can definitely be overcome. In terms of kind of the flip side of that, when we're looking at where companies feel that AI can help, the number one area is kind of that improved efficiencies. And that's an absolutely kind of valid point. Once you get into kind of the use of AI and you get used to kind of giving it the prompts, which we'll go through in a little bit, it really, really can kind of speed things up. It can also help you to attract new customers. So particularly kind of in the world of PPC, it can help with things like targeting and finding customers that perhaps if you were to sit there and kind of write down and pin down, okay, well, this is my exact like audience persona, and I'm only going to target these people with these interests, there is a very high potential that there is, you know, a quite substantial amount of people that actually sit outside of this audience, and the using AI and PPC can help you to find these extra customers. It can help with better decision making. So like I say, with that kind of data analysis, AI can do it at kind of bulk. You just really need to make sure that you're kind of QCing and checking the outputs of that. It can help to retain customers. So I'm sure Anne in her previous webinars has spoken about various different tools in terms of automating the process. And AI works really, really great with automation, and they go kind of hand in hand as well. Helps you to convert potential customers. It delivers more personalized experience. It can help to weather macroeconomic conditions, and it helps to plug skills gap, particularly if you're a small kind of marketing team, and you know, as a marketing manager, you might have you might lean towards one side of kind of that marketing sphere, and if that was the paid side, for example, you might not be as strong in kind of content, and AI can help to kind of plug some of those gaps for you. But when it comes to AI in PPC, there are very, very far-stretching kind of uses, and you know, some people are very against it, whether that be from kind of their own views or whether that be kind of company and compliance policies. I know there's a lot of like companies out there that've got really, really strict kind of compliance teams, and it's taken a while to get kind of AI on board within these. Others are, you know, just skeptical, maybe a little bit curious, and then there are others out there who actively seek ways in which AI can help, and these are leading the charge in kind of developing kind of how AI can support in PPC, but also kind of wider digital and beyond that. But what I would say, and what I kind of alluded to while we were doing the polls, is that it doesn't matter a person's views, that when it comes to PPC marketing, if you're running Google Ads campaigns, there is a 90, maybe 99% chance that you're actually already using AI in some form. And, you know, AI is touching kind of every single element of PPC at this point, whether you're using kind of smart bidding or whether you're using campaign types like Performance Max, then you're definitely already making use of AI, and you're giving it prompts, even if you don't realize that you are doing so. When it comes to AI and PPC specifically, many people are afraid. They're fearful of job replacements, being redundant within the roles, losing kind of that element of control, and being quite untrusting of the results. And they're all valid fears. But once you start to kind of engage with AI and you can see the outputs and you can see how you can work together, it doesn't mean that, you know, you need to be afraid of these things. If you embrace it, it leaves you time to focus on, you know, less kind of menial like tasks, and really focus on kind of those tasks that's going to generate you big outputs. So it's not that it will replace our jobs. It will be that our jobs will just differ slightly. So rather than being kind of that kind of in the accounts and doing all these like little bits here and there, AI can help us to do those little bits while we focus on feeding the information to AI. So it's just a shift in kind of what we're used to doing as PPC managers. So ultimately, less control doesn't have to mean that you get lower performance. So where can AI help PPC marketers? And I mean, I've already touched on this, but it can literally help in every single element of PPC management if you let it. So you've got things from the planning side of things, from competitor research, keyword research, user intent. These are all things that as PPC managers, we have to go out and we have to do in one tool or another. So AI can help to speed up this process. It helps to make things more efficient, and you can still take that information and you can still put it into kind of the regular tools like the Google Keyword Planner, for example, if we're doing keyword research, just to kind of cross-reference, but it can be a good kind of starting point to get us started. It can help with building and managing campaigns from that ad ideation. One of the ones I particularly kind of like AI for is kind of creative or video kind of concepts. I mean, as a PPC manager, I very often, head in the data, and we're not always bouncing kind of creative ideas around, and sometimes they take a little while to kind of come to us. So tools like AI can help to kind of again speed up that process. And then you've also got kind of the reporting side of things, whether that's theorizing and kind of it can be useful if you are a one person like team. That can be quite kind of daunting and also kind of isolating, and you don't really have anybody to bounce ideas off of. So not to say go and make friends with ChatGPT, but it can be a good place if you've just got a thought in your head and you want to know well, what are the potential challenges to this, what haven't I thought of, and you haven't got another person to bounce that off. AI can also kind of help with that as well. In terms of where PPC marketers can support and work with AI, really we see it as kind of two areas at the moment. The first one is the control. So, AI is really, really smart, but it's not above errors. And the nature of AI is it learns as it goes. So what I would say is, whilst we utilize AI, we don't always just take for granted what AI gives us and take that as kind of the gospel truth. We need to, QC, we need to check, we need to make sure that, bad actions aren't happening, be that kind of stop gate to QC what kind of the AI output is. We need to make sure that, if you've got really specific brand guidelines, specific tone of voice, that context and branding is upheld. And just to make sure that, the core data that AI is kind of giving back does align with kind of each and every business that you're putting it through. The second side is the guidance. So AI, basically, it can't function without us, without the data that we give to it. And it just means that rather now than us always managing the inner complexities of Google, we need to give to Google or these other AI tools better information about our business. And we need to be providing really, really good quality base data. And this helps to kind of teach and guide the machine. Once we've given it the data, again, same as it's always been in PPC, like if we create new ad copy, we don't just give Google ad copy once and then that's it. We're always looking at how we can kind of optimize and improve that data that we've given to Google, whether that be improving kind of our tracking setups, whether that be improving the visuals, the creatives, the messaging, the audiences that we give to Google. There's always a way that we can kind of improve the outputs that AI gives based on the information that we provide to it. So what does this mean for PPC marketers? It means we can be more efficient. We can improve the speed at which we complete tasks. We can improve the quantity of the output as well as the quality potentially. We can spend time focusing on more sales driving activities, because optimizing a search terms report and looking manually looking for, key themes and stuff, that's not really sales driving activity. So we can focus on the bigger stuff. From a results perspective, particularly, when it comes down to like the bidding and the targeting algorithms that kind of Google puts together, we can expect to see, improved data. We can improve our testing. And from the creativity side of things, which I know is something that, a lot of PPC marketers sometimes struggle with, it can help to give us new ideas. It can improve those kind of creative concept capabilities and just get the creative juices flowing a little bit. So on to what we're kind of all here for. So everything now is all about kind of the tools, the tactics, and some kind of examples. So from an AI perspective, there are hundreds of tools out there, and there are new tools kind of launching all the time. These are just a very few of, what is out there. So, there's more out there. Go away, test the different tools. With these ones, what I would say is all of the ones on the content, all of the ones on the visuals side of things, and all but Optimizer on the data side of things, they all have a free version. So they're really low barrier to entry. They also all, of course, have kind of pro features to them as well. Some of the tools like ChatGPT and Claude, they will perform better and you'll get kind of more outputs, or you'll be able to give more data in the pro versions. But, as a way to kind of get started, the free versions can be kind of insightful and useful for you as well. The likes of Canva, their free version, it just means that you get so many tokens within the free version. So, and same with like the likes of Synthesizer, you can use the free version and you can get kind of most of the functionality out of it. It just means that you can only do it so many times within a day or a month or a given period. So lots and lots of tools out there. And I'm going to go through some examples for each of these. So when it comes to AI and PPC, essentially AI is as good as kind of the information that you provide it. And the better the prompt that you give to the AI, the better this is.
Sorry, someone had a question before you move to the next section. The person was asking, do you use Gemini, or do you think it will be more knowledgeable for Google PPC in particular, or is ChatGPT the best?
I have tried Gemini in the past. I haven't been impressed with its outputs as yet. It will be Gemini that's kind of integrated into Google ads in terms of kind of that ad generation and campaign build. But yeah, as it stands, ChatGPT or Claude, which is very similar to ChatGPT, I do find give much better outputs in kind of my experience on that one. Ooh. So yeah, so when it comes to the AI and the PPC, same as kind of any other form of where you kind of using AI, you need to kind of be giving it prompts. Prompts work to guide and optimize the AI machine to get you that desired response and output. They are used, you can use them to set the tone, you can use them to set the style of the response, and you can, guide and update and help the machine to learn, essentially, to get you to the right level of output that you want. To get your right output, your prompt should be precise, it should be clear, it should provide clear instructions on what the output should look like. And like I say, tools like ChatGPT, tools like Claude, they can be trained. So, don't be disheartened if you put in your first prompt and it doesn't give exactly what you wanted it to give back. You can tweak the prompt to get a better response. The different types of prompts that we can give are, we can give data prompts. So this might be sales or leads data. It might be customer emails. It might be audiences. And with this is probably something, for the most part, you might want to, stick within Google Ads platform if you're a bit unsure about how much data to give out to the likes of ChatGPT or Claude. But certainly within the confines of Google Ads, the more data that we can give it, the better the output from kind of the campaigns. We can give it context, so whether that's brand guidelines, whether that's tone of voice, we can give it website URLs, we can give it a list of competitors, and we can guide it with context. And we can also give visuals, so whether that be imagery, video, logos, again, to help give some more kind of context and material resource for AI to work with. So when it comes to formulating your prompts, this is an example of a very basic, but what I would probably call kind of a bad prompt. You're asking for an output, you're telling the tool what you want, and you're giving it a brand, but you're giving it no context. So particularly in the free versions, so ChatGPT, if it's kind of free, for example, what you would find is, give me a list of 20 short keywords for Annika Digital. What the tools where you don't give kind of URLs or you don't give context of what you're looking for, the output is going to be kind of very vague and it's going to be very broad. So we can start to build on that. We can start to give the tool the audience that we're looking for. We can start to give the tool, you know, in certain scenarios, not always, but we can give the tool where this user might be. So in this one, a list of 20 short keywords for the company that we're targeting a marketing manager, so who the audience is and where they're going to be searching. So we're looking specifically within Google, but still we can do a little bit better. The main thing to add into kind of all of this is the context, and the more context and the more precise guidance that you can give the tool, the better the output's going to be. So with this one, we've just given a little bit of additional context, and that just helps to kind of guide that output there. So let's put some of these into practice. So I'm just going to run through some different kind of examples of how we kind of put them into practice from each of the stages. So the planning, the building and the managing, and then also kind of the data reporting side of things. So we're going to start with the planning. One of the first things as PPC managers that we do when we're kind of starting out, planning our campaigns, and also throughout as well, we might go in to do kind of a little bit of competitor research. And through using ChatGPT 4.0, you can instruct the tool to go and search URLs and compile information on your competitors. This is just, you know, one way to do it. So in this instance, I've asked ChatGPT to go and look at this list of websites, and then I've asked them to compile, you know, what are the pricing points for each of these? What are the core key features and what are the calls to actions? And that's just a very kind of simple prompt, but it starts to help you. And rather than having, you know, always to go and kind of check this information for yourself and kind of compile it in kind of an Excel document or something like that, ChatGPT just goes away, scans the website and it pulls it back. For things like pricing, it might be something that at least initially, whilst you're kind of getting into it, you want to kind of spot check and make sure it's given, you know, the right information back. But in my experience from this one, it's been quite accurate. So that's one way in terms of the competitor research. You can also use AI to help with understanding user intent. So this is an example from Microsoft Bing's deep search. And when you put a keyword into Bing and kind of the deep search comes up, it helps to give you context of what a user is kind of actually looking for. And that can help to guide, you know, what is your structure of your campaigns? What is your kind of messaging for kind of each of the search terms? So are the users specifically kind of in that mindset? Are they actively, you know, looking to purchase? Or are they still in kind of that exploration stage? Or are they looking for, you know, low prices, quick deals? What is important to kind of this audience? And that can help you to kind of curate and craft good messaging that aligns with what the user is actually searching for. We can also use it for keyword research. And I would say, you know, similar to how we've kind of historically done keyword research, you will get different ideas and different results from each of the tools. So like previously, whenever I've done kind of keyword research in the past, I always go to keyword planner, the keyword planner tool. That's a good starting point. It always has been. But in addition to that, I might also go to tools like Answer the Public, or I might also go to tools like SEMrush, or I might speak to kind of the SEO team and see what keywords they've got. So similar to how we would in kind of those instances, I still find it useful to do the research through kind of multiple tools, and the likes of ChatGPT and the likes of Claude are just additional tools in your toolbox that you can utilize to get different kind of ideas, different context of what a user might be searching for. You can use the tools to get like your initial seed keywords and then put them through the keyword planner tool to kind of expand and get kind of the cost per click information and the search volumes, or you can use it to build kind of longer lists as well. So in this example, I'm asking the tool to give 20 short keywords for Annika Digital. So this is the initial prompt. And I've also asked it to include UK search volumes for each keyword. Really important if you ask for search volumes to specify the country on that one, or you might get some varying data. But this is the output that the two tools that kind of I utilize. So ChatGPT, that's given, very like broader, I would say, keywords, very short tail. So it's looking at, just the PPC agency, paid social agency. It's gone very top line. Giving the same prompt to Claude, we can see that Claude has taken a different kind of angle. So you can start to see like how the tools kind of vary. So Claude has gone further down kind of the more long tail. So looking specifically at B2B digital marketing agency and things like that. So you can see how the different tools can give you very, very different responses. And that's why I think it's beneficial to utilize both. I mean, they're all free, and you still continue to use Google Keyword Planner as well. But as they're all free, you can start to see how it can help you to curate a better kind of list of keywords. We can also use it for some audience research, and this helps to provide some insight into, ideal targets. You can ask it to, what are the channels, whether that's social channels. So if you're building a wider kind of paid media or digital strategy, what channels are your potential audience in? What are their interests? What are their kind of key motivators? And if we know these things about kind of their interests, well, that helps with we're targeting across the kind of the display or the video network. We can reach them at kind of different points using kind of these audience signals. Also, what are the key motivators? And not only will this help with, developing display and video assets, but it would also help with kind of search text ads as well, because if we know their key motivators, so in this example, if I know that the suburban family is looking, to create a low maintenance, safe space for children to play, and they're looking for it to be durable, that it's pet friendly, we can talk about these kind of elements directly within our ad messaging, and that's going to resonate a lot better kind of with our audiences. So all you're asking is asking the tool to do some audience research, giving it the brand, the business that you want to kind of do the research for, giving it the format in which you want the results presented back. So in this instance, I've asked it to put it back in a table format. So for things like this, I find a table format quite useful. And I've asked it for 5 likely customer personas, and I've asked it for specific things. So I've asked it for their demographics, their interests, what their online behavior is, what social channels they're using, and what are their kind of motivations. So you can mix this up. You can ask it for different things depending on kind of what you need for your kind of output. So you can tweak that, but this is the kind of outputs that you can get. And like I say, it just helps you to, identify what marketing channels you should be using, or paid media channels, and then also how you can kind of craft and create your ads for them. So moving on now into how we can kind of manage and build our campaigns. So the first element is looking at ad creation. So again, depending on the tool that you put this into, you're going to get, slightly different results and inspiration. So have a play around with kind of Claude, have a play around with ChatGPT. They're both great for content production. Claude can give larger outputs than ChatGPT, so it's a bigger platform, it's a bigger tool, it gives bigger responses. Personally, from my experience, I have found Claude to be a little bit more kind of human on the touch. But again, with kind of tweaking of prompts and giving kind of that tone that you want back in your kind of ad message, you can tweak ChatGPT to do the same as well. So in this example, we're asking Google ChatGPT to create 2 Google ads. So we're specifying the platform in an RSA, so a responsive search ad format. I've asked it to give multiple headlines of 30 characters and 90 descriptions of 90 characters. So again, we're giving very specific, very precise outputs. I will say ChatGPT has got better. So when I first started using ChatGPT 12 months or so, 18 months ago, it wasn't very good at following character count. So you'd ask for an ad that's 30 characters long and you'd get one that's 50. So it has got a lot better over time, but still double check, the odd one sometimes does still slip through. And we're asking it to give an example of how we can kind of A/B test. And also just to explain its principle and its thought process around, why is this going to be kind of a good ad test. So it will go away, it will give you the first ad, it will give you the second ad, and you can do it in this format. You can, again, similar to the audience research, you can ask it to kind of build the ads in a table format, and you can get more than 2, so it doesn't have to be for an A/B test. And then it's going to give you why it makes a good A/B test. So in this example, it's saying both ads highlight similar benefit, but ad A focuses on premium features, whereas ad B emphasises the ease of care and family pet-friendly qualities, and testing these will help identify which value propositions resonate better. So it gives you the context and you can decide, well, is that good? Is that bad? Do I need to give it a bit more information? Do I need to guide it on that as well? You can also use it to build creative concepts. And really, for me, this is all about getting kind of the creative juices flowing. I will say with the creative concepts, some come out more kind of outrageous than others, but you can ask it, you can set the tone. So in this example, I've asked it for a fun and approachable tone, but you can set kind of your tone and the warmth and whatnot of kind of the prompt, and you can go back and you can tweak it. So if it comes back and it's a little bit too, you've asked it for fun, but it's a little bit too fun for your brand, you can ask it to kind of tone it down as well. You can also use this in conjunction with the previously identified audience personas that you've got, and you can also specify the platforms where the creative is going to be used. So in this example, I've asked it for responsive display ads for Google Ads, but if you was creating kind of social ads for any of the kind of the platforms, you can also ask it for ads in kind of that context as well. But for me, it's all about getting kind of those creative juices flowing, and it just gives a starting point of how can we develop on these? How can we build these out into something that aligns with our brand as well? Another thing that a lot of brands struggle with is that kind of creative generation. So actually producing kind of the imagery and the video. I will say from a AI perspective, I still think there's a long, long way to go, but it's come a long way, and you can see from kind of the imagery that's kind of generated. So between kind of Copilot, Canva, and Runway, there's other tools. A lot of people use Midjourney. It's not one that kind of I've experimented with, but a lot of people do get on kind of with that as well. I don't find ChatGPT and Claude and those kind of content-based large language models particularly great for image generation. In this instance, I would say Copilot took the prompt in the best format, but they all give out kind of slightly kind of different variations. And again, like I say, they've all got kind of free models. So you can have kind of a play around, and it helps you, you know, if you've gone through the previous slide and built that creative concept, you can give that creative concept as a prompt to these tools and ask it, you know, to create kind of the imagery. The other thing that you can do, obviously, if you create it in any of these, but particularly if you create it in Canva, you can then take that imagery and use Canva to build it out into kind of a proper ad format as well. So if you struggle with imagery, AI can help with that. I think it's just important, particularly if you're a e-commerce business. It's not so much if you're lead generation, but if you're an e-commerce business, that you just need to make sure that it's reflective of like what you're actually selling. So you don't want to be, you know, mocking up random imagery of kind of, I don't know, sofas and bookcases that you don't sell, because it might create more of a disjointed experience. But yeah, lots and lots of tools, play around, give it guidance in terms of, you know, what are you looking for? Be the more specific that you can be, the better the output is going to be on this one. The other side of the visuals is video. So when it comes to video, it can be quite hard, at least I find it can be quite hard to start and get kind of an initial concept. I'm always watching like TV ads and I'm always thinking, well, who came up with this? Who had that initial like first idea where they thought this is going to be good for a TV ad, or this is going to be good for video? So creating video concepts for me, AI can be kind of a game changer, again, to get those kind of creative juices flowing. And again, I would recommend ChatGPT or Claude for kind of the purpose of this, but it's all about kind of the prompt that you give it. So in this example, I have given kind of the prompt of a video specialist. I've given it the platform, so we're going for kind of YouTube, and I've given it basically a job title of who they are. So that's another thing that you can give to ChatGPT or Claude or the tools. You can tell it who you want that person to be. So in this instance, it's a video specialist, but it could be a digital marketing specialist, whatever it might be. You can give it kind of that sort of context as well. And then I'm asking it to write a script, and I'm giving the industry, I'm giving the brand, the website overview, what the benefits are, and I am asking it, what are 5 different angles we could approach a video ad for, and format it in a table. So how do you want it presented back? And these are the types of responses that you can get. Hopefully it's a little bit bigger on your screens, but you've got the slides you'll be able to see it in the slides, if not. But essentially, they've both been given the same prompt, so acting like that video specialist, and it will give you different marketing angles. So ChatGPT, for example, gave quality at affordable prices. It's given a description of kind of elaborate on that a little bit. So telling you to emphasize on the combination of high quality furniture with affordability, appealing to value conscious customers. And it's given you a key message. So why compromise on quality? Get premium home and garden furniture without breaking the bank. From Claude, and this is where I think, for me, like I say, Claude gives a little bit more of humanity within it. So the marketing angle from Claude was family heritage legacy, or when it talks about affordability, affordable luxury for every home. Designer inspired furniture without the designer price tag, or 3 generations of British craftsmanship in every piece. So for me, they just have a little bit more of a human kind of touch to them from Claude. But again, like I say, you can guide ChatGPT and you can guide Claude to adjust and adapt its tone. On the video scripting side, so once you've got your concept, you've decided on which one of these angles you're going to go for, you can then ask the tool to take that concept and turn it into a video script. So in this example, I'm asking for a 15-second video, and I'm giving it the undertone should be warm and approachable. and it starts to give, it will give set the scene, it will give the voiceover, and it will kind of walk you through kind of each of them. I would say with the video scripting, this is one that does take a little bit of tweaking, and it's not perfect at its output. But again, it gives you some inspiration. It gives you kind of a place to start as well. So really great for kind of a starting point, and taking that concept and then visualizing that into what does that actually look like as a video. And once you've got all of that, you can then put it into, well, depending on your kind of resources, you can either take that and you can go and you can produce that video. Or again, if you struggle with kind of building video content, because it, you know, it can be very, very expensive, Synthesizer is a really, really great, can be a kind of good tool. There's other ones, so like Canva does have a video generation. When I've experimented with Canva video generation, though, it hasn't been the best. So not so bad, quite good on the image side, but I am yet to become a fan of the AI video generation in Canva. But again, you can put it into an AI tool like Synthesizer. With Synthesizer, you can select like what your like overarching objective is, what style of video. So it's got templates for things like demos. It's got things like tutorials and things like that. So you can select kind of the style, select the template, how many scenes, so how long is the video going to be, and you know, then you start to give it the objective, you give it the audience, and you build kind of all of these prompts, and then it gives you the output. And then again, you can start to kind of tweak, you know, just the script. You can add in your kind of logos. You can change the avatars and stuff in there as well. So lots of things that you can kind of adjust. You can also give it a file and kind of adjust the prompt as well. So Synthesizer, again, you know, I wouldn't say any of the AI tools are absolutely perfect for kind of the visual side of things yet, personally in my experience. But if you do struggle, if you don't have that kind of resource, it can be a way to generate a good video. You can get, if you prompt it right, you can get kind of good content out the back of that as well. And like I say, you don't have to use AI to actually generate the video. You can just take the prompts and move those on. You can also use it to plan out account structures. So giving Google a prompt and asking, you know, what's using Google Ads best practice, what would you recommend as a structure? I would say for this one, it's not something I personally would use, because I can apply my own kind of logic in terms of kind of the structure. But if PPC and Google Ads is something that's kind of new to you, it's something that can kind of help to support you on that as well. Feed optimization is quite a good one. So you can use tools like ChatGPT, like Claude, again, to improve the quality of your feed. So as marketers, particularly for e-commerce, where performance maxes come in and there's a lot of kind of AI and automation within there, like I say, the inputs that you give to Google is becoming really, really important. So the things that we can kind of control are the visuals, are the ad content and the messaging, it's the audiences, it's the targeting, and it's things like the product feed. So improving the product feed is one area where, if you're an e-commerce business, you really, really should kind of be focusing on. You can use AI to, you know, enhance what's already there. So in this example, we're looking at some examples of current titles, and they're quite kind of basic. They're quite kind of short. They've not got any features or use cases or anything like that within them. And it's just giving back some examples of, you know, how can you improve this specific title? So it's good at giving kind of enhancements to existing ones. And you can also use it to populate missing information by getting the tool to scan product pages. And you can do this, and you can pair it with a Google Sheet to pull in the information into Google Sheet, and you can do it on bulk. So one of the things in terms of doing it directly within the likes of ChatGPT is that ChatGPT it's going to scan, one at a time, and it's going to give you one at a time. So that's a very kind of manual process. You could ask it for kind of recommendations overall. So you could give it your product feed, and you can say, how in general could I improve, my product titles? And it will give you kind of the output, and it will give you some examples. If you want to do it in bulk though, things like plugins for Google Sheets can really kind of help to do that, and it can help to populate. So this is a very kind of basic example, but you can use an extension. It's called GPT for Sheets and Docs, and essentially it just gives you, you put the prompts in, you give it kind of the input, which is kind of the URL or the product page in this instance, and you set the formula for the output, and it just helps to run prompts on scale. This, like I say, is a very, very basic format. My colleague, James, he's built a very, very custom sheet in a similar kind of way, but it sets all kind of the tones, and it builds kind of product descriptions. So this just takes what's on the page and spits it back out to you. So we're asking for the brand, we're asking for the category. But yeah, my colleague James, he's gone into a lot of detail, and he produces whole kind of product descriptions based on this information, based on what's in the PIM data, and then sets kind of all the tone and stuff as well. So there's loads and loads that you can actually do with the information, and pulling it out of the tool into other tools like Google Sheets as well. And to wrap it off, we have got the final bit, and that is kind of the reporting. So one of the things, again, particularly, maybe if you're kind of an internal manager or you're working with clients, you might want to stress test something that you're going to say. So you might want to see, what potential or possible challenges might you face when presenting maybe a new idea, when you're presenting a performance report. And this can help you to foresee and plan kind of what your responses might be, and just see, well, actually, are there gaps in my theory? Are there gaps in my idea? Have I missed something when I'm analysing kind of the data? So the example here is just that I want to update stakeholders that paid search performance is down year on year due to competitive changes. How might they respond or challenge this conclusion? And it just breaks down. It might be that there's competitive changes. It might be that people have entered the market, a decline in a specific product. And you might get to the end of this and you might say, well, I've thought of all of those, and I've assessed all of those, and I can confirm that none of these to be true. I'm happy with kind of what I've done. But it just gives you a way to kind of stress test and see what challenges, you might face when you're presenting something. And it doesn't have to be performance-based. Like I say, it could be a new idea or anything like that, and just get, what are the possible questions that I might face on that. You can also get it to look at kind of reporting analysis at scale, or analyze the results of kind of an experiment, or summarize the results of an experiment. Again, as what I would say is, with all of the data stuff, I wouldn't recommend becoming heavily reliant on AI for kind of reporting and analysis, because you need to be, in order to stay on top of kind of what's going on in the account, you need to be on top of that data as well. So I wouldn't say, run every single report through kind of AI. But if you're looking at an experiment, and sometimes you look at an experiment results data and you're like, I'm struggling to see like what can I draw? What can I draw from this? Sometimes the results aren't always clear. So if you've got a bit of like a brain block or something like that, it can help to kind of get you past that, and just give you some pointers of kind of where to look. But I wouldn't, whilst I'm saying it can do it, and it can give some great pointers, don't become reliant on it and just focus on what that's outputting. You need to still kind of look at that data yourself. So again, it's always still kind of a blend of AI and human input, and just making sure you're staying in the account and in the data yourself as well. So key takeaways. I would say AI is already embedded within PPC. So from the smart bidding strategies, the use of performance max campaigns, these all have AI embedded within them. If you're using performance max, you are using AI targeting. Google is using its machine learning and AI to decide who's the best person to kind of target. Using AI, it can help you improve your efficiency, it can help you improve your performance, and it can help you focus your time on sales generating activity and improving kind of that base information, that input information, to get kind of more back out. Lots and lots of tools out there. I would recommend using a combination to achieve the best results. Unfortunately, I would say at the moment, it's not there's not one tool that can kind of do absolutely everything at a good rate, at a good output. Like I say, ChatGPT, Claude, great for kind of content-based things, not so great on kind of the image side of things, and vice versa for the likes of, Runway and Synthesizer. They are creative specific ones. So there's not one tool that kind of does everything, but there's tools out there for everything. It's just about finding kind of the right ones for each at the moment. I'm sure somewhere down the line, somebody will acquire all of the tools and roll them into kind of one package that does kind of everything. But right now, we're not quite there. But thank you very, very much for joining today. Any questions, feel free to drop me an email. On the first slide, you've got my link to LinkedIn as well. But yeah, hopefully everybody has managed to take a little something away.
Thank you so much, Holly. That was quite informative. And I think everyone was really, really, really interested in terms of actually asking questions and in the group chat. And yeah, we have a good number of people in the room. Thank you so much. So just a little bit of housekeeping. As I said at the beginning, the handouts are in the handout section. So you can always go in there to download the slides. If you have any other questions, please put it in the chat before we end today's session. If not, you can always go straight to the webinar page on the Anika website to find out more about this presentation. You can go ahead to rewatch it or watch past presentations. Next week, we have my colleague Pete taking us on a very interesting topic. If you go straight into the webinar page, that will be uploaded, I think, by Monday, and then you can go ahead to register. So yeah, there are no more questions. We're going to go ahead to end today's session. Thank you so much, Holly, again. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's session, and we hope to see you in the next one. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you for joining, everybody.
So much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.